Hello, and welcome back to another episode of M is for Meeple.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm Morgan.
And today we're going to talk about Dinosaur Island.
Rawr and right.
Dinosaur Island is a 1 to 4 player game that takes about 30 to 45 minutes.
In Dinosaur Island, Rawr and right, your goal is to build the best dang dinosaur theme park you can. You can do this by collecting DNA to make different types of dinosaurs, hiring specialists to use their unique abilities, and building attractions and special buildings to enhance your visitor experience.
However, dinosaurs are dangerous, and if you don't put some effort into keeping your park secure, you just might lose track of some of your visitors. All of your progress and missteps will be marked on your park sheet, where you draw the layout of your park, store and spend resources, and record your progress.
The game is played over 3 seasons. At the end of the 3rd season, players count up their total victory points and determine the winner. Each season is made up of the following phases. The first action phase, players will draft 2 dice each and take turns placing them on the game board to take specific actions. The second action phase, players repeat the action phase, drafting another 2 dice each and placing them on the game board. The third phase is the run park phase, where all players open their parks to visitors and simultaneously run through the steps to gain income, use specialists they've hired, and check that their park is secure. So now that you kind of know a little bit about the game, we're going to talk about why we like it and why we would recommend this game. All right, Mitch, so what do you like about Dinosaur Island Rawr and right?
I really like the puzzly aspect of trying to fit all the different rides and attractions and the like dinosaur pens in a spot or on your player sheet and trying to draw a road to connect them all to get victory points. I feel like I'm really good at that, but we did play it wrong a little bit to where...
we had separate
dinosaur
separate
pens.
exhibits.
Exhibits.
Exhibits for
the same
dinosaur, which made the puzzly aspect even more challenging because you would run out of room towards the end of the game, especially if you put larger dinosaurs in your park.
But it did make it a little bit easier of getting to those bigger exit points on the map. So, I don't know. I like to play it again, but play it right.
Yeah, agreed. We did play it wrong, 3 times?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we were consistent in how we played it wrong.
We were.
So, the game was fair. We were scoring the same way. It's not like I was playing the game one way and you were playing it a different way.
But I feel like playing it the correct way, where you just have one exhibit for each dinosaur, would make it more fun, because then it would almost encourage you to go for like the rides and the merchant stalls and the food stands, because you would have more room to fit those things in your tiny park without them being overcrowded by dinosaur exhibits like we had.
I would like to play this game at a higher player count too, because I feel like with the dice placement, that like getting threat would be more of an aspect. I feel like how we were playing were very reserved. Is that the right word? And how we were getting threat versus how we had security, to where we didn't have any fatalities or lost visitors.
All 3 games that we played, I think we only
I had 2 people get lost.
Yeah, like our threat level was very minimal. I don't think I had any threats in all 3 games that I had. One of the things I really like about this game is like the ability to kind of plan ahead. Like if you generate enough excitement in your park, you can kind of look at the excitement tracker and be like, okay, I know I'm going to generate at least 3 security, which means that I can afford to build this dinosaur exhibit that's going to give me more threat. Even though I don't have the security to secure that threat right now, I will have that security once I run my park before we get to that threat phase. So it's kind of cool because you can kind of like plan ahead, and it's puzzling in that aspect too, to try to figure out like, okay, what am I going to have? Will I generate enough coins to be able to purchase this person before that happens? And
because there's 3 other phases before you get to the security or the threat level phase, or maybe there's 4 To where it's like if you have a security guard, that gives you more security. If your tours are doing well, you're getting more security.
That all happens before you even get to where you would generate threat. So you might be generating more security than you think you would be, when you on the first round of your turn. I also like the player interaction in this game. While everyone is making their own individual dinosaur park, placing your dice and being selective about which dice you're placing into the action board can kind of like discourage other players from taking a similar action. So, for example, if I place one of my dice that has a level 3 threat on the breed dinosaur part of the action board, anyone else, if you're playing a 2-player game, the other player, if they also want to breed dinosaurs that turn,
they gotta take that 3 threat.
Right, and my dice is already there. They will have to take that 3 threat because I chose to put that 3 threat die on that space.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of be selective about how you utilize your die and where you place it on the action board to kind of, discourage other players from taking similar actions.
And let's talk about the die. They're big.
Chunky die.
They're chunky.
This game actually has chunky die.
And they look like amber.
They do.
Freaking
like from Jurassic Park. Oh.
It's awesome.
I also really like drawing the dinosaur exhibits. Like, it's really fun to actually draw out your dinosaur park and optimize it. Like, okay, I'm gonna put this exhibit here, and then I'm gonna count how many spaces I have. I can fit 3 more dinosaur exhibits in this space, and then I can get a merch and squeeze that in, and then I can make it down to score those 10 victory points. It's really, really fun. And then trying to get enough roads, and you can bank your roads if you don't have a use for them right away, but you can kind of plan ahead to make sure everything connects, and you're optimizing your tour so that everything flows efficiently, because if your tour can't backtrack in order to generate excitement, right?
Right. Once you go through a building on that tour or an exhibit, you can't go back to that building on the tour. That's kind of a bad tour if you go backwards. So
right. So you want to make your tour very efficient by making it zigzag and loop to where you're only going through
no,
each.
That's wrong. That's wrong. You go a circle around the outside, and then after you get your circle, then you zigzag back up.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, it can be really fun and challenging trying to make your tour or design your tour so that, your roads are going a specific way, connecting your buildings and exhibits together.
I'm undefeated. Just throwing that out there, undefeated.
No, I won the first game. Didn't I?
We pulled out the score sheets. I won every single one. I won by 2 points, then I won by 8 points, and then I won by 1.
I won the first one, and then you beat me. Well, we played it wrong. So do those count?
They do.
I don't think
they do.
So.
They do. For me, I didn't like, and not so much as that I didn't like. It's just a hurdle to get over. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. Just the iconology, all the different symbols, because there's 3 basic DNA. 3 advanced DNA. You gotta learn the instant action symbol. You gotta learn the run your park symbol. You gotta learn the attraction symbol. And there's 3 attraction symbols.
Symbol for merch, rides, and food.
Right, so there's so many symbols because
the road symbol.
Yeah, the road symbol. They're cramming so much onto
security symbol.
They're cramming so much onto a tiny little sheet to where it's daunting at first that so much information is on just a piece of paper this big. But it's a lot of fun once you get past that point.
I mean, I really like this game, but I guess if I had to pick something that I didn't like, there can be a bit of a luck element to it, because on your turn, if you're the first player, you draw 5 die and you roll them, and there's 10 die total, so you might not get certain symbols on the die that you select, and then you might not get the symbols that you want. And then it's a drafting, where if you're first player, you get to pick the first die, and then the second player gets to pick 2, and then you get the last one. And then the one that's left over, you guys both get. But sometimes that can be challenging, knowing that you're the first player. While you do get to pick first, you know you're giving the die to the other player. And sometimes it can be difficult if you don't roll what you need. Like, say I really need roads to connect all of my roads together, and I didn't roll any roads. And then,
Then you gotta place it on that little space that gets you 3 roads.
Right, but so say in this scenario, so if I were the second player, there was no roads rolled on the die, and the first player places their die with a 3 threat level on the 3 road symbol.
Because I knew she wanted roads. I knew she wanted them. Right,
there is a little bit of take that, and that can sometimes be frustrating, because then you're like, oh, do I take the 3 threat to get the 3 roads that I wanted? It can be challenging.
You're describing a specific instance.
No,
right?
that happened. It did. But I think it was the other way around, where you needed the roads and I took the roads.
No, it was the very last season, the last round, because I only had a 3 threat and a 2 threat, and I put it right on there.
Right. Yeah.
But you ended up getting enough from your tour to where the threat didn't matter.
Yeah, that's fair. But I really like it. I think the one thing, I guess it's not against this game, but we also own Dinosaur Island, which is on our shelf of shame. We have not played this game, but
when we do, you can be sure we may not reveal it.
It is also by Pandasaurus. But now that we have Dinosaur Island Rawr and right, I don't see a situation where we would ever pull out Dinosaur Island over this one, because this game is so accessible to just whip out, play. It's a really good coffee table game. It's thinky, it's puzzly, it's very fun. I might have to update that opinion once we do actually get Dinosaur Island to the table, but as it stands right now, I think playing this versus a larger, more complex dinosaur game, I feel like this would get to the table a lot more.
I feel like that will get to the table a lot more, but I feel like there is a place for this on our shelves. Look at this.
But then there's also Dinosaur World, which looks a little bit better than this one. We don't have that. Maybe we'll do a review of all the dinosaur games.
We might do a comparison.
Yeah, we own.
Once we play all the dinosaur games, we'll do a comparison.
Right. That is one negative, is that now that we have this one, I feel like we'll play our other dinosaur games a little less frequently because this one is so accessible.
Yeah.
So kudos to this game for being...
For condensing it.
So accessible and fun and making you really feel like you are truly designing your own dinosaur park.
And I'm not sure if they use the same symbols in Dinosaur Island as they do in Rawr right, but I feel like once you learn the iconology, it kind of all...
I mean, truly, that is the biggest hurdle in any game that has a lot of iconography. Iconography. That's what I think.
Hieroglyphs. Icon-glyphs? I'm trying to think what it would be.
We'll do the definition thing.
We will. Whatever. Icons. What did they mean?
But that's honestly the biggest hurdle in any game that has a lot of icons. It can be a little overwhelming at first to be like, oh my gosh, there's so many different symbols. What do all these mean? It can be very confusing. But once you learn, okay, this lock means security. This roller coaster means a ride attraction. It gets easier because this game, I don't feel like it's that difficult. It's very intuitive.
It definitely gets easier. Everything gets easier the more times you do it, but I feel...
Well, even the basic DNA is your 3 primary colors. And then...
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. It's red, blue, and yellow.
Yeah.
It's your 3 primary colors, and then your advanced DNA is purple, green, and...
Those have a special name.
Purple, green, and...
Orange.
Those
have a special name. What are those?
Advanced DNA.
No. What are those 3 colors that have a special name?
Secondary colors? I don't know.
Yep, that's probably
Primary, secondary, that sounds right.
That's probably
But anyways, so even that is very intuitive once you understand, okay, I rolled a red DNA and it looks like a DNA heloclips. Isn't that what it's called?
A helix.
Helix.
A double helix?
Yeah.
strand?
I mean, the symbols are just double helix and then they're color-coded. So, I mean, when it's very intuitive once you get into it, what everything means. I hope this game gets, like, an expansion, you know, with, like...
How would you expand it, though? Like, where would you go from there?
I don't know, like another sheet to build other parks or other cards with new specialists, new dinosaurs.
One thing we didn't really talk about is it has a degree of which each game varies, because there's three different three different attractions you can make, and there's 3 different specialists that you'll be able to hire.
Special attractions. Yeah, so those can change up every game to where, you know, one time you might have, like, you know, a specialist, a DNA specialist, where once you hire them, you get, you know, you generate more advanced DNA on your turn every time. Or one might be like an attraction, like what was the one we just played with, the cow pen or pig pen?
The goat pen.
Goat pen.
Goat pen,
yeah.
Which you can draw right up against one of the large carnivores.
Like the T-Rex.
And it'll score bonus points based on how many carnivores are in that
which thematically pen. Makes sense, because it's like their, you know, feeding pen. They're eating the goats.
Yeah, just like in that episode, or not episode, that movie, they feed a goat to a T-Rex. Happens in this game.
What movie? Jurassic Park?
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
You couldn't think of Jurassic Park?
I couldn't think of Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, which one they feed a goat to.
But anyway, so every time you play the game, it can change up a little bit. You know, different attractions are worth different victory points at the end and can cause bonuses. Like I had one in the game that we played last night where it was like, oh, this attraction is worth 2 points for every herbivore you have. So I just collected like a bunch of herbivore dinosaurs to score a lot of victory points at the end. So it can kind of change up your strategy for what you want to spend your coins on, and which attractions or specialists you want to purchase.
For the first season of the game, I didn't have any dinosaurs. All attractions.
Yeah, I also really just like drawing the park. Like it's just really fun.
And it's just squares.
It is just squares and a grid, but it's really fun trying to, like, if you like Roller Coaster or Zoo Tycoon, I feel like this is a similar. Yeah,
you get that same feeling.
Yeah, you get a very similar feel. Like, okay, I'm gonna put this here, and then, you know, I can squeeze in this dinosaur in this space, and then I just need 2 roads to connect them, and it's really fun. I would like to see how it plays at a 3 or 4 player count.
Every person gets 2 die in the drafting phase, and then there's 1 left over that everyone gets. So in a 3-player game, you're rolling 7.
Okay, so you're getting more resources than you typically do?
No, you're still getting 2 die.
Okay.
But there's a greater chance that the die that you're looking for will get rolled.
Oh.
So in a 4-player game, 9 die. I gotta write that down. Yeah, 9 die will get rolled in a 4-player game. All right, so would you recommend the game?
Absolutely. I really like Dinosaur Island, Rawr, and Right. It unfortunately did not make my top 10, but it was an honorable mention.
It did make my top 10.
I said mine. Yeah.
I know, but it made mine.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. And it's 4.5 meeples out of 5.
4.5 meeples?
4.5 meeples out of 5.
I'll second that. 4.5 meeples out of 5.
I feel like, I feel like a lot of games on my top 10. 4.5 meeples out of 5.
Yeah. It comes with very cute dinosaur erasers also.
So if you want to get Dinosaur Island Raw and Right, check out your friendly local gaming store. And if you're in the Northeast Ohio area, check out Recess. That's our board game store we go to. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
And remember, any game's a good game as long as you're having fun. I'm Morgan.
I'm Mitch.
And together, we're M is for Meeple. A Roll and Write forms a blend of push your luck mechanics, set collection, and a wide variety of other mechanics. One big element, which is hidden underneath all of the mechanics, is the idea of permanence. Once you write down a value, you need to commit to that for the rest of the game.
And now you know.